That time I got reincarnated as a slime season 4. Let's start with the one that might be the biggest anime announcement in the Isekai genre this year. That time I got reincarnated as a slime is officially returning for its 4th season, and it is premiering on April 3rd, 2026. But here is the part that makes this feel genuinely historic. This season is not just a standard 2-cour run. The production team at Bandai Namco Filmworks announced that Season 4 will be structured across 5 cours, which translates to roughly 60 episodes in total. The first 2 cours will air back-to-back, running continuously from April through September 2026, and the remaining 3 will follow at later dates. Nothing like this has ever been done before in the history of this franchise, and it is one of the most ambitious scheduling decisions seen in recent anime history. The studio behind the animation is once again Studio 8-Bit, who has handled all 3 previous seasons. Director Atsushi Nakayama is returning to the helm, and Toshizo Nomoto is back handling the scripts. The same creative team that built everything you already love about this world. Miho Akasaki will of course be reprising her role as Rimuru Tempest, the voice that has carried this series from the very beginning. On top of that, the opening theme for Season 4 is called Esurigoto, performed by Air Aoi, and the ending theme Katsubo comes from Cyan. Now let's talk about what this season is actually going to cover, because the story is shifting into some of its most politically complex and high-stakes territory yet. If you have been following along, Season 3 ended with Rimuru completing the Founders Festival and establishing deeper diplomatic relationships with nations around the world. The Jura Tempest Federation is growing. The vision of a world where monsters and humans coexist is starting to feel real. But not everyone is happy about that. Season 4 is expected to begin with the Rasso family arc, adapting from around the 10th light novel volume. The Rasso family, specifically Mariabel Rasso and her grandfather Granbel, a former hero who leads the 5 elders of the kingdom of Silt Rasso, are positioning themselves as serious antagonists. They see the rise of Rimuru and the Demon Lord as a direct threat to human supremacy, and they are not subtle about their intentions to dismantle everything Rimuru has built. What makes this series so beloved is exactly what has kept it going for years. Rimuru does not just fight his way through problems. He builds, he leads, he negotiates, he transforms. The story is fundamentally about what happens after you become powerful. It is about responsibility, vision, and the messy, complicated work of building something that lasts. Watching a slime who started with nothing gradually reshape the geopolitical landscape of an entire fantasy world is genuinely unlike anything else in the genre, and with 5 cours to work with, Season 4 has the room to develop all of that depth. The wait since Season 3 ended in September 2024 has been about 19 months, and everything from the scope of this production to the sheer confidence of the 5-cour format says that this season is being treated as the definitive chapter of Rimuru's story. Mark your calendars. Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun Season 4. Next up is a series that does not always get the credit it deserves in conversations about Isekai anime, but it absolutely should. Welcome to Demon School. Iruma-kun is back for its 4th season, debuting on April 4th, 2026 on NHK Educational, and it is going to run for a full half year with 24 episodes split across 2 cours. Crunchyroll is simulcasting the season globally, including in North and South America, Europe, Africa, and beyond. The anime is based on the manga by Osamu Nishi, which has been running in Weekly Shonen Champion since March 2017 and has now surpassed 47 volumes and over 20 million copies in circulation worldwide. The production studio is Bandai Namco Pictures, which has animated all previous seasons. For Season 4, Makoto Moriwaki returns as chief director, joined by new director Ayaka Tsujihashi, who brings experience from titles like Tsuki Jie Michibiku Isekai Duchu. Kazuyuki Fudayasu continues handling the series composition. Yumiko Hara remains as character designer, and Akamitsu Hanma is back as the music composer. The opening theme song is called Ichi Ni no San, performed by the band Penthouse. For those unfamiliar with this series, here is what makes it stand apart from most isekai you have seen. Iruma Suzuki is a 14-year-old human boy whose absolutely irresponsible parents sell him to a demon named Sullivan. Yes, his own parents sell him. Sullivan, however, turns out not to be a terrifying demon lord, but rather a lonely old demon who simply wants a grandson to dote on. He enrolls Iruma in Babel's, the prestigious demon school where he himself serves as chairman, and tells Iruma to never, under any circumstances, reveal that he is human, because if anyone finds out, he will be eaten. That tension, a completely human boy trying to survive, hide his identity, and somehow thrive in a school full of demons who could tear him apart, is the engine that drives the entire series. But what keeps it genuinely addictive season after season is that Iruma keeps thriving, completely by accident. His natural kindness and complete inability to say no to anyone makes him accidentally incredible at nearly everything. He ends up befriending some of the most powerful demon students in the school, accidentally chants a forbidden spell in front of the entire student body during his first week, gets the school chairman as his devoted grandfather, and somehow becomes the person everyone expects to be the next demon king. The comedy comes from the constant collision between how much everyone overestimates him and how desperately he is just trying to stay unnoticed. Season 3 ended with the massive Harvest Festival arc, which showed incredible growth across the entire abnormal class. Season 4 is expected to pick up with the aftermath of that, with teacher Nibirius Caligo, ever the demanding, terrifying homeroom teacher who has somehow also become Iruma's familiar, pushing his students toward new challenges and rank promotions. The upcoming music festival arc promises to take the school event formula somewhere completely new. The season also introduces a significant new character, Person Soi, the abnormal class's long-forgotten 13th classmate, voiced by Setsuo Ito, who is going to play an important role going forward. And veteran voice actor Takahito Koyasu is joining the cast as Amdusius Poro. This show has a remarkable consistency. Every season feels like a natural evolution of everything before it, and Season 4 looks to deliver more of the same warmth, chaos, and genuine heart. Ascendance of a Bookworm, Season 4, Adopted Daughter of an Archduke. Now here is a series that stands as one of the most genuinely unique entries in the Isekai genre, and its 4th season is something fans have been waiting a long time to see. Ascendance of a Bookworm returns on April 4th, 2026, airing on Yomiuri TV and NTV at 5:30 p.m., also on Tokyo MX from April 6th, and streaming on Crunchyroll globally. Like the other big returns this spring, it will run for 2 consecutive cours, a full half-year of episodes. This season carries the subtitle Adopted Daughter of an Archduke, and it is adapting the 3rd part of the original light novel series, written by Miya Kazuki, with illustrations by Yushina. The novels, originally serialized online from 2013 to 2017, were published by TO Books across 33 volumes and concluded in December 2023. This is one of the most beloved fantasy series in Japan's light novel scene, with over 13 million copies in circulation, including digital editions. A significant change for this season is the animation studio. For the first 3 seasons, Agiadu Animation Works handled production. Season 4 marks a handover to WIT Studio, the acclaimed studio behind Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga, and that transition alone has generated enormous excitement. Yoshiaki Iwasaki takes over as director, with Mariko Kunisawa returning as series composer, and Aiko Minowa stepping in as the new character designer. The composer Michiru is back, and Yuka Iguchi and Sho Hayami both return as Rosemine and Ferdinand, respectively. The opening theme is called Pages, performed by Little Glee Monster. For the uninitiated, the premise of this series requires a bit of explanation because it is completely unlike any other isekai out there. A Japanese college student named Urano Motosu, a woman who has loved books her entire life, who was on the verge of finally landing her dream job as a librarian, dies when a pile of books literally falls on her during an earthquake. Her final wish is to be reincarnated somewhere she can read books forever. She wakes up as a frail 5-year-old girl named Mine in a medieval fantasy world where the literacy rate is extremely low, printing presses do not exist, and books are extraordinarily rare, expensive, and exclusively accessible to the noble class. Instead of accepting that reality, she decides to change it. She starts small, making things from whatever materials she can scrape together as a poor soldier's daughter, and then gradually, painstakingly, begins figuring out how to recreate paper, then ink, then the concept of printing. Every invention she introduces is treated with genuine weight and consequence. The series goes into incredible depth about how one single technology can reshape economics, literacy, class structure, and political power. What makes this so special is that there is no combat, no leveling up, no chosen hero prophecy. The growth comes from intelligence, patience, and stubbornness. The world building is meticulous and rewards close attention. Season 4 is a major turning point for the story. Mine, now going by Rosemine, has been adopted by the Archduke, fully leaving her life as a commoner behind. She now navigates the complex and dangerous world of noble society, a world that operates by entirely different rules, and where political missteps can have devastating consequences. This is where the story truly starts exploring just how far-reaching Rosemine's influence on this world can be, not just through books, but through the education systems, the church, the noble academies, and the broader cultural fabric of a society she has spent her entire new life quietly reshaping. With WIT Studio now at the helm, this is going to look more beautiful than it ever has. Tsukimiki, Moonlit Fantasy, Season 3. Here is one that was confirmed the moment its second season ended, which is always a good sign. Tsukimiki Moonlit Fantasy Season 3 is officially in production, announced immediately after the final episode of Season 2 aired on June 24, 2024. A release date has not yet been officially locked in, but based on the release pattern of the first two seasons, Season 1 aired in summer 2021, Season 2 ran from January to June 2024. A late 2026 premiere feels like a reasonable expectation. The anime is based on the light novel series by Kei Izumi, illustrated by Mitsuaki Matsumoto, published by Alpha Polis, which has over 4 million copies in circulation. Season 1 was animated by C2C and directed by Shinji Ishihara, the director known for Log Horizon. Season 2 moved to JC staff and retained the main staff. The series composition has been handled by Kenta Ihara, who also worked on Saga of Tanya the Evil and Cautious Hero, and character designs have been by Yuki Suzuki throughout. The story starts with Makoto Misumi, an ordinary high school student whose parents had long ago made a contract with a goddess to send their child to her fantasy world. Makoto grows up expecting this moment to come, training in archery and preparing himself mentally for whatever lies ahead. When it finally happens, the goddess of this world, upon seeing him, is immediately offended by his appearance, calls him ugly by her world standards, and strips him of his hero status before tossing him to the furthest, most remote edge of her world, the wasteland, the place where humans cannot survive. In a lesser story, this would be pure wish fulfillment setup for how hard Makoto gets revenge. But Tsukimiki does something more interesting than that. Makoto does not harbor deep rage about what happened to him. He adapts with a kind of cheerful practicality that makes him genuinely endearing. In the Wastelands, he meets beings that the goddess's world considers undesirable: dragons, spiders, orcs, dwarves, all sorts of non-human races, and he builds a community with them. He names his territory Asura and gradually turns it into a hidden paradise for outcasts and monsters alike. Meanwhile, he ventures into the human world disguised as a merchant under the alias Reidu Kuzunoha, trying to understand the world he is not supposed to exist in. Here is the detail that makes the power system uniquely funny and satisfying. Makoto is supposed to be stuck at level 1, and everyone in the world can see his stats. So to almost everyone he meets, he looks weak. What almost no one realizes is that the level cap in this world was designed with a hard integer limit, exactly 65,536, and Makoto is essentially causing an overflow error. His actual power is so far beyond what the system can measure that it simply stops registering. He is casually described as being on par with gods while looking completely unremarkable on paper. The contrast between how he appears and what he can actually do creates endless comedic and dramatic potential. Season 3 is expected to continue adapting from around the Kuzunoha tour arc of the light novels, where the stakes and the scale of Makoto's situation start getting considerably larger. The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic Season 2. This one flew a bit under the radar when Season 1 came out in early 2024, but it built a dedicated following fast, and now Season 2 has been officially confirmed. The announcement came at Otakon in August 2024, where the staff revealed the next season is in production. At that time, no release date had been set, but a 2026 window has been discussed based on production timelines. Crunchyroll will continue streaming it globally. The production team from Season 1 included director Takahide Ogata, working at the joint production between Studio Ad and Shiny Eye Animation. Shogo Yasukawa, who has worked on Food Wars Shokuchiki no Soma, handled the series scripts. Character designer Kenji Tanabe, known for his work on Blue Lock, designed the characters. The music was composed by Elements Garden. The main voice cast includes Shogo Sakata as Ken Sato, Aika Nanes as Suzune Inakami, Kengo Takahashi as Kazuki Ryusen, and Atsuko Tanaka as Rose. Original author Kurikata was enthusiastic about the Season 2 announcement, specifically mentioning excitement about the new characters that will appear. The series is based on Kurikata's light novel Chiyu Meiho no Mashigata Tsukai Kata, originally serialized on Shosetsuka Ni Nero from 2014, later published by MF Books with 12 volumes, and adapted into a manga by Reki Kyugazin. The novel series has over 4 million copies in circulation. Here is the premise, because it takes something predictable and twists it in a direction you do not expect. Ken Usato is an ordinary high school student who gets accidentally swept up in a hero summoning ritual along with two of his classmates. The two classmates, the student council president Suzune and his classmate Kazuki, are the actual heroes the kingdom summoned. They have the flashy magic, the powerful combat skills, the classic chosen hero energy. Usato just happened to be walking by at the wrong moment. He does not belong there at all. But before anyone can figure out how to send him home, he is discovered to have an exceedingly rare ability, healing magic. Now, in most Isekai stories, healing magic is a support role. You stand in the back, you patch people up, and everyone else does the actual fighting. That is not how this works. Usato is immediately abducted by a woman named Rose, the terrifying, ruthless, obsessively driven leader of the rescue team, an elite unit of combat healers. And Rose has a very particular philosophy about what healing magic means. It does not mean you stay in the back. It means you can push your body to absolute limits because you can repair the damage instantly. Rose trains Usato like a monster. Every day is brutal physical conditioning, extreme endurance drills, and combat training that would break most people. But every time Usato collapses from exhaustion or takes serious damage, he heals himself and keeps going. He essentially becomes an unkillable tank who carries injured allies off the battlefield while punching through enemies. Season 1 ended with Usato, along with his fox beastkin companion Amako and a knight named Iruku, departing on a mission to deliver letters to the beastkin territory. Season 2 is expected to adapt the arc involving the Demon King's daughter, introducing new characters and escalating the scale of the conflicts Usato finds himself in. It is a genuinely fun watch, and the way it reframes what a support ability means in combat makes every progression beat feel earned. As a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. Season 3. This series has moved fast. The first season aired from April to June 2024. The second season aired from September to December 2024. And at the end of Season 2, a third season was immediately announced. For a series that started with relatively modest expectations, it has built remarkable momentum in a short time. No exact premiere date for Season 3 has been confirmed yet, but with 2 seasons already in the books and an announcement already made, 2026 is the expected window. The anime is produced by Studio Mother, directed by Takao Kato, with scripts by Yasuhiro Nakanishi, who has worked on Kaguya-sama, Love is War, and character designs by Yuko Yahiro, also from Kaguya-sama. It is based on the light novel series by Murajane, illustrated by Jimmy, published by Kodansha, which began on Shosetsuka Ni Nero in 2019. A manga adaptation by Natsumi Inoue began in Kodansha's magazine Pocket in 2020. The novel series has over 30 million views online in Japan. Kodansha USA has licensed both the light novel and manga for English publication. The story follows a Japanese salaryman who dies and is reincarnated in a medieval fantasy world as Ars Luvent, the young heir to a weak noble family that rules the declining territory of Lamberg. His family has very little military strength, limited resources, and very few options. But Ars is born with an unusual ability. He can see the hidden stats, talents, and potential of any person he looks at. He can literally read people. When he encounters Ritsu Muses, a boy from a discriminated racial minority who has been overlooked by everyone, Ars immediately recognizes that Ritsu has extraordinary combat and leadership potential. He recruits him, against all expectations, and Ritsu becomes the first piece of what Ars intends to build into an exceptional team. What sets this apart from the typical power fantasy is that Ars himself is not the strongest person in any room. He does not fight particularly well, he does not have overwhelming magic, and he knows it. His power is entirely relational. He exists to find the right people, put them in the right roles, and create conditions where talented individuals can thrive. The series is fundamentally about leadership and what genuine leadership looks like. Each arc introduces new characters with remarkable abilities who are being overlooked or wasted by the systems around them, and watching Ars identify them, earn their trust, and integrate them into something greater is deeply satisfying. Season 2 escalated the political tension significantly, pushing Ars into actual military conflict over the succession of the Duchy of Missian. Season 3 will continue building on the increasingly complex political landscape this world is developing. So what's wrong with getting reborn as a goblin? Now we are shifting to an anime that has not aired yet, but is generating serious attention. This is a brand new adaptation, so what's wrong with getting reborn as a goblin? Based on the manga by Nizuna Miki with art by Tsukasa Araki, serialized in Tonari no Young Jump, where the 14th volume was just released in March 2026. The anime premieres in October 2026, and the announcement came alongside a teaser visual and the full cast and staff reveal at Anime Japan 2026. The studio handling animation is Baka, directed by Ryuta Kawahara, who has worked as an episode director on titles like The Summer Hikaru Died, Orange, and 86. Series scripts are by Yuichiro Mamos, who worked on So I'm a Spider, So What, and Africa Salaryman. Character designs are by Hiroyuki Saita, known for Cardfight Vanguard Divinez and Review Starlight. The cast is anchored by Kikuna Suktoya as Akira, Yoko Hikasa as Karen, and Anzaki Tachibana as Chloe. The manga is published in English by Yen Press, and the publisher has been actively expanding the series internationally. Here is the concept, and it is a clever one. Akira Yagami is a salaryman, the kind of person whose entire professional identity is built around being reliable, responsible, and genuinely helpful to the people around him. His whole career, people have taken advantage of that. And then one day, running to push a child out of the way of oncoming traffic, he died. Noble death, right? He wakes up reincarnated as a goblin, the weakest race in the fantasy world, a species with a natural lifespan of exactly 7 days. But here is where it gets interesting. Upon reincarnation, Akira receives a special skill called 80 Years of Humanity. This ability allows him to inherit the accumulated skills and experiences of all the goblins who came before him. Everything his predecessors learned, survived, and died knowing gets passed to him. The result is a goblin who thinks and reasons like a seasoned adult human, carries the combat knowledge and survival techniques of generations, and approaches every threat with the strategic patience of someone who has already seen most of these problems before. He immediately starts applying his past life instincts for management and organization to building a goblin village from scratch, while beings from across the fantasy world, humans, elves, demons, dragons, are drawn to him one by one. The tone mixes strategic survival with genuine humor, and the appeal of watching someone with ordinary human decency thrive in an environment designed to destroy him is exactly as satisfying as it sounds. Re-Monster Season 2. And speaking of goblins, here is another one. Re-Monster, which first aired in spring 2024 from Studio Dean, has confirmed that Season 2 is in production. The announcement came in September 2025, alongside a teaser visual featuring the main character Aparu alongside Princess Rebelia. As of now, a specific release date has not been confirmed, but the production is actively underway. The series is based on the light novel series by Kajitsun Kanakiru with illustrations by Yamada, published by Alphapolis. A manga adaptation by Haruyoshi Kobayakawa has been running alongside the novel. The Season 1 cast included Takuya Sato as Aparu, and the returning cast is expected for Season 2. The story of Re-Monster centers on Tomoki Kanata, a human who, in his previous life, had the unusual ability to gain power from the things he ate. He is killed by a stalker and reincarnated as Gobaru, a baby goblin in a brutal, unforgiving fantasy world. The evolution system here is visceral and unapologetic. The stronger the creature Gobaru consumes, the stronger he becomes. He absorbs abilities, resistances, and physical traits from everything he defeats and eats. From a weak goblin child, he rises through constant combat and consumption, evolving past his initial form, gaining allies, carving out his place in the monster hierarchy, and eventually building a powerful community around himself. This is one of the darker Isekai in recent years, leaning into the brutality of its world without flinching. There is no pretense here of a gentle protagonist reluctantly getting stronger. Gobaru embraces what he is with purpose and clarity. The appeal for fans of dark fantasy is precisely that directness. The world is cruel, the stakes are real, and the progression from the absolute bottom towards something like power and agency feels earned in a way that only hard experience can create. Season 2 is expected to continue Gobaru's journey beyond where the story left off, with the arrival of Princess Rebelia teasing new political dimensions to the story. Possibly the greatest alchemist of all time. Season 2. Let's move from darkness to something lighter. Possibly the greatest alchemist of all time aired its first season in the winter 2025 season, and a second season was officially confirmed in September 2025. A specific release date has not yet been announced, but 2026 is the expected window based on production timelines. The confirmation came from the official anime website, along with a celebratory illustration by Taro Sasakama, the artist who draws the manga adaptation. The anime was directed by Naoyuki Kazuya at Studio Comet, with series composition by Mitsutaka Hirota, who worked on Rent a Girlfriend. Character designs are by Sayaka Anazaki, and the music was composed composed by Hiroshi Nakamura. The main voice cast includes Shogo Sakata as Takumi Iruma, Ai Kayano as Sophia Sylphide, Nao Toyama as Maria, and Sora Amamiya as the goddess Norn. The series is based on the light novel series by Kaji Tsunemeru, published by Alphapolis with 18 volumes released, and a manga adaptation by Taro Sasakama published digitally through Alpha Manga. The setup here involves a middle-aged office worker named Takumi Iruma who gets accidentally swept into a hero summoning ritual that was not meant for him. The kingdom needed heroes. They summoned a few. Takumi just got caught in the pull by being in the wrong place at the wrong moment. As an apology for the mix-up, the goddess Nalan appears, resurrects him as a teenager so he can live a fresh life, and offers him the choice of any skill he wants as compensation. Takumi, who has absolutely zero interest in being anyone's hero and wants nothing more than to live quietly and peacefully, picks what seems like the most boring, non-combat creation skill available: alchemy. This, of course, turns out to be the most overpowered skill in the world. Alchemy in this story can create essentially anything: holy swords, flying ships, magical tools, advanced weapons, architectural materials, medicine, if you understand the components and the process. Takumi's accumulated 40-something years of real-world knowledge about chemistry, engineering, and manufacturing make him extraordinarily capable with it. He sets up a quiet life as a craftsman and merchant in a remote area, hoping no one will notice him. They notice him immediately. His creations are too impressive, his abilities are too useful, and adventure keeps finding him no matter how firmly he tries to close the door on it. The first season established his companions, including the wolf beastkin Sophia and the young girl Maria, and ended with the story clearly set up for further escalation. Season 2 will continue building on those foundations. The Weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash. Season 2. Now here is a series that is genuinely unlike almost anything else in this genre. The Weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash had its first season air in winter 2024, and in December 2025, Season 2 was officially confirmed. A key visual was released alongside the announcement, showing protagonist Ivy and her slime companion Sora in their characteristic quiet, hopeful visual style. No premiere date or staff details have been confirmed yet beyond the announcement, but the production is underway. The first season was produced by Studio Mascot, with Naoki Horiuchi directing and Shigeyasu Yamauchi as chief director. Katsuhiko Takayama handled the series scripts, and Kojiro Yumemi composed the music. The main cast includes Aina Suzuki as Ivy, who also sang the opening theme, Hate no Nai Tabi, and Mutsumi Tamura as Sora. The series is based on the light novel by Anobonaru 500 with illustrations by Nama, published by To Books with 15 volumes as of December 2025. A manga adaptation by Fukino has been running since 2020. Both the light novel and manga are licensed in North America by Seven Seas Entertainment. The world of this series operates on a system of starred skills. Every person is born with abilities ranked by stars, and the number and quality of your stars determines your place in society. Tamers, people who can form bonds with monsters, are one such class of skill. Ivy is reborn into this world as a girl named Femisha, and she is born with 0 stars. No stars. Her family, her village, all see this as a curse and a bad omen. The very people who should love and protect her turn on her, and eventually she is driven out entirely, forced to flee and survive alone in a forest at a very young age. Here is the truth about Ivy's ability that the story gradually revealed. Having no stars does not mean having no power. It means having no limit. Stars in this world cap how far a skill can develop. A no-star tamer has an ability with no ceiling. Ivy has no idea about any of this at first. She just survived. She collects discarded items left behind by travelers and adventurers, hence the title, Picking Up Trash, and slowly learns to use them. She tames Sora, a tiny slime who is also on the verge of death, and the two of them form a fragile, beautiful friendship that is the emotional center of everything in this series. As Sora evolves, growing stronger as Ivy's bond with her deepens, and as she absorbs different materials, and as Ivy slowly starts to understand the full scope of what she is capable of, the story becomes something genuinely moving. This is one of the most emotionally patient Isekai in recent years. It does not rush. The progression is slow and earned. The world feels harsh and real, and Ivy's victories, even the small ones, feel meaningful in a way that flashier series cannot always achieve. Season 2 will continue her journey as the world begins to take notice of exactly how extraordinary this supposed weakest tamer actually is. A wild last boss appeared, Season 2, and for our final entry, we have one of the best hidden gems of fall 2025. A wild last boss appeared aired from October to December 2025 on Tokyo MX and Crunchyroll, and the moment the Season 1 finale ended, Season 2 was immediately announced. The series gained a dedicated following despite competing against some heavy hitters that season, and the announcement teaser for Season 2 already gave fans their first look at the 12 Heavenly Stars, a group of characters who are set to play a major role in what comes next. The anime was produced by Wayo World, directed by Yuya Horiyuchi, with Kazuyuki Fudayasu, who also works on the Iruma-kun series composition, handling the scripts. Character designs were by Maiko Ebisawa, known for key animation work on Wonder Egg Priority and Sword Art Online Alicization. The music was composed by Techno Boys Pulcraft Green Fun. The opening theme level wa Ajit Butsuri de Naguru was performed by Kisada Kaiden and the Akaboshi Rockets, the same band behind the iconic opening of High School of the Dead, which immediately told longtime anime fans this was going to hit a particular energy. The ending theme, Mijai Hidari, was performed by Yuka Nagase. The story is based on the light novel series written by Firehead with illustrations by Yahako, originally serialized on Shosetsuka Enai Nero from 2015 to 2019, collected into 9 volumes by Earthstar Entertainment. A manga adaptation by Tsubasa Hazuki runs in Comic Earthstar, and J-Novel Club handles the English releases for both. Here is the premise, and it is a genuinely creative inversion of the Isekai formula. In the year 2800, an incredibly popular MMORPG exists where one player's character, Luffy's Maffle, known as the Blackwing Tyrant, has become so dominant that the other top players organize an elaborate final battle event specifically to defeat her. The player controlling Luffy's arranges for his character to be dramatically defeated as a gift to the community. Then he goes to sleep. He wakes up not in his bedroom, but in a fantasy world, inside the body of Luffy's Maffle herself. Not the game, the actual world, and 200 years have passed since Luffy's defeat. The mystery this immediately generates is what makes the series compelling. This is not the world from the game. It has the same geography, the same mythology, the same names, but the history diverged. Luffy's defeat 200 years ago did not just end a game session. It unleashed something. The subordinates she commanded, known as the 12 Heavenly Stars, scattered across the world and are now causing chaos in her absence. People still fear the name Blackwing Tyrant. Legends have grown around Luffy's that are bigger and darker than anything the player originally intended. And now, inhabiting this body, he has to figure out what this world actually is, why it exists, what the goddess who oversees it is actually planning, and how to deal with the chaos his character's absence created. Season 2 is going to bring the 12 Heavenly Stars directly into the story, and the confrontations and alliances that implies promise to make the second season significantly more intense than the first. That is your list. 9 Isekai series, some returning legends, some rising newcomers, all worth your time. Whether you are just discovering some of these for the first time or you have been counting down the days for specific sequels, there is genuinely something in this lineup for every kind of fan. Drop a comment and let me know which one you are most excited about, and if any of these made it onto your watch list, make sure you subscribe so you catch the episode discussions when they drop. See you in the next one.